Welcome to Virtual Wednesday. Yay! Hope you're enjoying your day at home, but we're still going to be doing some work today. We're going to be combining the two things that we did so far this week into one as we use ratios and proportions to solve real world problems. And here are our steps. Step one, we're going to set up a ratio for the given information, and I can't stress this enough, the units are very important. Can't just write the numbers. You've got to put down what you're talking about, or you're going to get everything upside down and backwards. Step 2. Start the second fraction with the same units in the same location. That's hugely important, and you can't do it if you didn't put the units down in step 1. Then you're going to cross multiply and solve. So let's do a couple of examples. All right. First one. It says Emily can ride her scooter 18 miles in 50 minutes. All right. So at this speed, part A, at this same rate or speed, how far can she ride in 2 hours? So let's start with step 1. We're going to write 18 miles, and we're talking 50 minutes. Units are extremely important. All right. Now the next fraction. We want to keep the units in the same location. So I need to keep miles in the numerator and minutes in the denominator. And what piece of information did they give us? So at this same rate or speed, how far can she ride in 2 hours? Well, this says minutes, so we need to know how many hours are in minutes. We have unit conversions that we covered earlier, and hopefully you know that's 120 minutes. The part that's missing, how far can she go? So again, we used ratios to set up our proportion. Now we're going to do the steps we did on Monday, and we're going to cross multiply and solve. So my first cross multiply will be 50 times x. That's 50 minutes times x. And then my last step, cross multiply the other way, 18 times 120. So again, I'm going to get my calculator out for that because I don't know my 18's that high. 18 times 120 makes 2160. Now I'll solve. I'll divide both sides by 50. And again, use a calculator, and I got x equals 43.2. So since it's distance, it's a word problem, we need words in our answer, so don't forget to put the unit of measurement in there. That's miles. All right. Next, set up a similar equation. This time it says how long would it take for her to ride 4 miles? So we'll start with the same known information. 18 miles, 50 minutes. All right, we're going to set the next one up with the same units in the same location, except this time we want to ride 4 miles, and we're looking for how long it will take. So we have to have a different missing piece of information on this one. Still going to cross multiply 18 times x, and then the other way 50 times 4, and now divide both sides by 18. So 200 divide by 18. And I'm getting 11.1 repeating. Again, if you're not sure about how many decimal places to put, 2 is always plenty. Could have put 11.11. That would have been perfect. All right. And then last, what is her unit rate in miles per hour? We're going to talk about that tomorrow on Thursday. So I'm going to leave that as like a bonus style question. If you can figure it out on your own, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. You may skip that portion. Again, that's what we're going to be covering on Thursday. So just thought I'd throw a little challenge out there. It is supposed to be dual credit, by the way, so I have to occasionally give you some harder stuff. But again, we are going to cover that topic on Thursday. All right, let's try one more. It says, Will's Widget Works can produce 2.5 tons of widgets in an 8-hour workday. All right, so there's probably our first ratio. Now, how many widgets can Will's Widget Works produce between 9 a.m. and noon? All right, so let's start off with our initial information there, like what do we already know? So we already know that there's 2.5 tons, and I'm going to change that into a decimal, 2.5 tons. A little easier to do my math with. And then we're talking about an 8-hour workday. All right, so when we set up our second equation, we want to keep the units in the same location, tons and hours. So the question says, how many widgets can Will's Widget Works produce between 9 a.m. and noon? So from 9 a.m. to noon, Well, from 9 to 10 is 1 hour, and 10 to 11 is 2 hours, and then from 11 to 12 is 3 hours. We're talking 3 hours. We want to know how many tons of widgets can we make. All right, so we're going to cross multiply again. Do the one with the x in it first is easiest, 8x. And then the other direction, 2.5 times 3 is going to make 7.5. And then I'll divide both sides by 8. Well, 7.5 divided by 8. I'm getting 0.9375. And again, I'm going to always tell you that 2 decimals is plenty. So let's go with the 0.94. We rounded using the 7. And we're talking about word problems, so there better be words in the answer. Tons of widgets. Whatever a widget is. It's just a famous term for random nonsense item. All right, so part B. So McGee Manufacturing, Inc. needs to order 17 tons of widgets. How many work days will it take Will's Widget Works to fill this order? So let's start with the same exact starting piece of information. We have 2.5 tons, and they do it in 1 8-hour day. All right. Now, they want 17 tons, and again, we need to keep the tons and the hours in the same location. We're looking for how many hours is that going to take. All right, so let's go ahead and cross multiply again. 2.5 times x. And in the other direction, 8 times 17. Again, I don't know my 8's that high. I have no idea. 136. Good thing for calculators, right? And then divide both sides by 2.5. I'm getting 54.4. Now again, it's got words, hours. Well, let's make sure the question said, how many work days will it take Will's Widget Works to fill this order? So if they do 8 hours in a work day, so this answer would be acceptable, by the way. I wouldn't be mad at you if that's what you put. But it says how many work days. Technically what we should be doing is dividing that by 8. And it would end up being 6.8 work days would be a better answer to this problem. Not the only answer. Again, I would have accepted 54.4 hours. I wouldn't have been upset at all with that. But again, a little bit better to answer the question more properly. All right, that's what your work is today. Good luck.